Here's a real fun one I think you guys are going to enjoy. 77 Vet. This side looks pretty normal. If we walk over to this side, uh-oh, that's a problem. Whoops. I have heard of this, but I've never seen it. This is a first for me. So, the story is the owner of this vet, he had to do a panic stop, basically slam on the brakes really, really hard, and then he heard a big thunk, and then the wheel was really hard to turn. Check out what happened. So, here's the upper control arm, and as you can tell, it has slid forward on this bushing right here about an inch. And the front of it has slid completely off of the mount and is now resting on top of it. I've never seen such a thing. It boggles my mind. But I will tell you this. The reason why it did it isn't because the bushings rolled. It's because whoever assembled this didn't do it right. What we're going to do on this, we're going to take the wheel off and try to get another control arm put on, and hopefully we can get it fixed pretty quickly. Here we are underneath. It's really muddy because since the tire was obviously driven through mud, but it was rubbing on the inner fender, and because of that they got mud everywhere, so ignore that. But we're going to look around and see if we can't find anything wrong other than the control arm. And the brake hose looks good, caliper looks good. This sway bar link was removed previously by the owner. I mean, I don't think there's really much that would be damaged from a failure like this because it wasn't going fast. But like the tie rod has some flex in it. I think that's okay. The ball joint, I got a new one just because, you know, if you're replacing the arm, you might as well replace the ball joint. And then I guess I don't trust the control arm. It probably could be reused, but and they bend fairly easily, so I'm gonna build another one for him. But the main thing we need to do is we need to get it all apart. So luckily for us, the lower control arm and the spring is all going to be held in by the shock. So what we can do is we can jack up the lower control arm, get some pressure off of this upper one, and then we can take apart this ball joint and then get it separated, and then hopefully remove it without having to, well, remove the alternator, you know, the radiator hose, all that kind of stuff. We'll see. I think I found one of the causes of the issue, and I'll show you on this side. So you see these nuts? They're not the locking kind, and because of that, the ones on this side, they were like hand tight. So yeah, kind of crazy. So what we're gonna end up doing is, I've already got the nuts off, and I kept all the control arm shims up here so we don't need to get an alignment again. But what I'm probably going to do, I need to remove the alternator just because it's in the way. Easy to get off. And then I'm probably going to see if I can't separate the steering spindle from the arm right here. And if for some reason that doesn't work, then I'm going to knock out these studs right here that hold that shaft on. But yeah, we'll just see. So the plan is to disconnect this nut here, basically move it down 4 or 5 threads so there's a gap in between the spindle and the nut, and then hit it really hard with a hammer, and it should pop where the spindle will come down, and then that way we can get the control arm out. Alright, we got it free. I don't know how we're going to get it out without removing the alternator, but I have discovered some things on this that I cannot wait to show you. Doing this with one hand is very difficult. There she is. I don't know if I can get it out through the inner fender. We're going to have to go out. So we have the arm out, and as I suspected, it is bent. You can kind of see how this kind of goes that way. It does have new control arm bushings in it. New. This one has slid out a little bit. I don't know if that was from when it came apart or before, but I'll tell you what the culprit was. This bolt, it goes into the bushing. So pretend, basically that goes in here, and then this is attached to the rod. That rod that's in there. this bolt on the front was gone. It was just missing, and so that allowed everything to start moving side to side and then eventually pop out. When you look at this inner bushing right here, you know, it's completely gone. I don't know where the other one of these is. It's been left somewhere. This bolt, it was on the back bushing, was completely loose. It wasn't tight at all. And I think what happened, somebody just forgot to tighten the upper ones or what, but you know, somebody's been through this. It's all been redone at one point. But again, there's no sense in putting anything old back on the car. Let's do it right this time. And let's put the right nuts on it. Let's put the right bushings in it, ball joint, and tighten everything up like it's supposed to be. But other than that, I don't see there's much other damage other than it kind of crushed this fan shroud right here, which is kind of sad, but you know, it is what it is. Luckily it didn't pop the radiator, but anyway, that's not going to make a pretty noise at all. So here is the new replacement. I just put the bushings in, new ball joint, but I wanted to show you just, it's bent. The other one is bent. So this side's pretty good, but this side, yeah, it wasn't going to work. I think in a pinch you probably could have used it, but I mean, we're here, we're doing it. Might as well put it back together the right way. So we'll throw it back in, put the car back on the ground, and see if there's any other damage. I think we're okay. The only other thing is I had to cut part of this shroud out. Now the other fan spins, so we should be good. But yeah, let's put her together. So here's the assembly manual for a 74 Corvette, but guess what? All the torque values are the same regardless of what year you're using. But it lists the torque for the bushings, for the nuts on the back, which were wrong, and it lists also the torque for the ball joint nut. And so everything is now torqued to spec. You want to wait to do the bushings until the car's on the ground, which now it is. And if you remember what it looked like in the beginning video, it looks much better now. Look at that. So now the car is back to where it was before the bolt came out and the bushing slid forward and everything went to crap. So there you go.